Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to What You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Dubuis Excalibur Chronograph, 42mm in brushed and polished stainless steel. You can see this Dubuis Excalibur Chronograph on our website, whatyouwant.com. Purchase it there if you like, and if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, What You Want Inc. You can see on my wrist 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference. This Dubuis Excalibur has the modern design ethic and language of the Dubuis brand, but with some of the elegant proportions and the thin profile of the earlier Dubuis Sympathy and Homage models. It's really a great blend of past and present that brings out the best of Dubuis' heritage as a brand. The watch wears nice and thin. Now it's only 12.5 millimeters thick, and because it nestles into the wrist a little bit, it only plays about 11 millimeters thick, and this will fit under a dress cuff and all but the absolute tightest sleeves. You can see across the broad of my wrist, the watch actually doesn't overlap. It features a beautiful conforming strap that performs the aesthetic function of a conforming strap in as much as it closes the gap between case flank and the end of the strap, but it doesn't actually cause the watch to flare. Now you can see that the watch has these beautiful down-turned semi-teardrop profile lugs that allow it to fit around the tight curve of a smaller wrist, and because the watch doesn't have overwhelming girth, that is, it's nice and thin, especially for an automatic complication, this is an easy one to wear in a wide variety of dress occasions, casual or formal. Again, it's that combination of steel with a dark strap that's a winning, all-purpose, all-aspect combo. It's a great tag team. Now you can see the distinctive Dubuis triple-faceted lugs. This triple lug system allows Dubuis to use a broad strap that plants the watch on the wrist. So you can see when it's on my wrist, it doesn't have that characteristic that you might have found in some watches like the Rolex Deep Sea, where the bracelet or the strap isn't quite wide enough to keep the watch from moving around. Here you have none of that. Plus you have the central anchoring lug that's not only visually distinctive, but does a great job of keeping the strap secure, prevents a gap from opening at the narrow of the strap where it abuts the case. Clever and distinctive of the Dubuis brand. Now the dial and the bezel themselves are actually charming in a very postmodernist sense. You see a lot of traditional elements. Inboard of the semi-guichet, sort of deeply knurled bezel, you can see a dial that combines traditional Roman numerals, albeit in a stylized, exuberant, almost sunburst pattern. Now there is a sunburst grain to the dial, and you can see it picking up the light and reflecting it beautifully in my light box. You can also see that there are traditional Dauphine faceted hands, so this one's easy to read at a glance, but the design language of the traditional twin register chronograph has been exaggerated into a buoyant and assertive aesthetic. It's upbeat, its persona is very driven by those postmodernist ethics, that is, reference the past, but evolve it to a level that is consistent with contemporary tastes and just a little bit nod and wink ironic. It's definitely got that with the countersunk sub-registers for the constant seconds and chronograph minutes. Now starting the watch up, you can see the beautiful Lancet style hand is blued for distinction from the time-telling hand, so hours, minutes, and seconds in silver, then heat blued for the chronograph seconds and chronograph minutes. A nice discrete date window at 6 o'clock speaks to the attention to detail that's lavished on this beautiful dial. There is a subtle step to the aperture, so it isn't a sheer break from the plane of the dial down to the plane of the date disc. Subtle, but well done. Again, Dubuis leaves nothing to chance. There is no default design going on here. You can even see the minute track outboard of the stylized Roman numerals, minutely calibrated, so it remains a very practical, at-a-glance chronograph to be used, not just enjoyed aesthetically. You can see that it has a little bit of a step to it, as well as a concave plane that swoops down from the bezel and actually provides a nice visual transition to the dial base. But it is the chronograph caliber RD681 that's the star here. Now I want to emphasize that the caliber 681, a micro rotor, features the Poinçon de Genève, gorgeous finishing standards codified in the statutes of the city and canton of Geneva. It's the kind of finish that is rare in a watch that is decidedly modernist in its bent, because all of the finishing standards here, from the beautiful linear Côte de Genève to the mirrored anglage of the bridges to the beautiful polish of the screw atop the column wheel and the tight engine-turning perlage beneath the winding rotor, is very, very traditional. Now this is a beautiful movement to see, but it's also a beautiful movement in motion. Watch the column wheel right here of this 44 jewel movement cycle as I start and stop the chronograph. You can see it rotating as its levers index it. This is a beautiful chronograph movement because you can see it. It features the refinements of a vertical clutch with an element I have never seen. The vertical clutch, normally hidden and buried at center in an automatic vertical clutch chronograph movement, can actually be seen. You can see the pincers that actually pick the binding discs up and drop them to engage the chronograph. You can actually see them moving in and out right here. Normally, the aesthetic merits of a lateral clutch, as frequently used by Patek Philippe, are its ability to be seen in action. So while a little bit more traditional, not as hyper-modern as a vertical clutch, it's aesthetically beautiful. This gives you the flexibility of a vertical clutch, the ability to start without a jump, stop without stagger, reset precisely to the index at 12, and run consistently and continuously to have center seconds with no hazard to the movement. It gives you those benefits of a vertical clutch, but without the aesthetic compromises that normally come with a vertical clutch. You can see the clutch, the column wheel, the chronograph drivetrain, the ceramic-borne tungsten micro rotor. You can see the beautiful balance, the graining of the levers and the wheels. Nothing is disguised, nothing is obscured. You can see a remarkable number of the 280 parts in this hand-finished Geneva seal movement. This is an extraordinary watch on both sides, stylistically progressive with some heritage elements on the front, thoroughly modern in its engineering architecture with loving cues to tradition on the back. You can see this Roger Dubuis Excalibur Chronograph 42mm in stainless steel and purchase it on our website, watchyouwant.com.